Hello everyone and welcome back to my second channel. I hope you all are doing well. The sun is starting to come out on this lovely morning and I just wanted to sit down and film a chatty little video for you all, specifically on my Workaway experience, because it was highly requested for me to do a video on my Workaway. I just never got around to it and I finally decided, was like, okay, now's the time. I have to talk about it. It was requested. So yeah, that's what this video will be on. It won't be too long. I'll just be talking about my experience with the Workaway that I did, kind of things I would recommend, and yeah, that type of stuff. But first and foremost, if you don't know, a Workaway is basically like where, it is what it sounds like. You work away, you work abroad. So there are different types of Workaways. There are paid Workaways and unpaid Workaways. So paid Workaways are a little bit more complicated because you have to get visas and make sure that those are in place properly because you are getting paid to work in a foreign country. The one that I did was unpaid. Now, usually with Workaways, you do get free room and board. So you'll likely stay in someone's house or stay in someone's adjoining house, or if they have like a smaller little, I don't know, mini apartment shed that's off the house, you'll stay there. Or you might stay in a shared room with other people who are doing Workaways, and usually you get free food, but not always. And yeah, you have a free place to stay. Now, the benefits of working away are the fact that you get to travel abroad and work away and get that experience in terms of traveling, and also that foreign work in terms of learning a new language, gaining new cultural experience, etc. Also, don't take a shot every time I say Workaway because it will be a lot. There are also different types of Workaways in terms of how many people. So for me, I wanted to do one that was only me. I didn't want to be with 10 other people who are doing the Workaway because I'm not a very social person and I was just too nervous for that. But if you are someone who's very social, wants to make a lot of friends, might even like be comfortable staying in hostels and all of that type of stuff, then that is for you. I am someone who's not comfortable staying in a hostel. I'm not a very social person and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. So I wanted one that was just me, just one person, and you can select that option on the Workaway website. You can choose whether it's just you or whether it's 2 people or whether you want a bunch of people. So this is also a great way, for example, if you and your best friend want to go on a trip together and travel, but you don't have a ton of money, you want to save some money, then this is a great way to do that because you can go stay somewhere for free, work, and then after work, go and explore together. Or it's a great way for you to make international friends, and you can stay with like 10 other people and it'll be all different ages and, sometimes genders, and then you can, like, sometimes there'll be all girl Workaways, all boy Workaways, or mixed, and then you can, mix and mingle. And I know people who've met like their partners through Workaway experiences, or who they've met their best friends through that. So it really just differs in what you're looking for and the social level that you're looking for as well. But on the website, you can choose that. So for me, I really heard about the whole Workaway experience last January, I'd say. And by March, I was decided on it. I told my parents, I was like, you can't stop me. I'm gonna do this. After I graduate university, I wanna try it, I wanna do it. And for me, it was more so just gaining the cultural experience. I wanted to see what it was like to actually immerse myself in a family that lived somewhere else. It's much different traveling and doing all the touristy sites and traveling on your own and doing what just you want to do, rather than staying with a family and seeing how they live, what time they actually wake up and go to school and go to bed, and what time they actually like go out and do sports, or what they actually eat, or what they actually do for fun. Like, it's much different than you going out and doing those tourist sites. So for me, that's what I wanted. I was looking at farms because I love animals, and I was looking at being an au pair, which is like a nanny, because I do have a little brother, he's 5, so I have experience with little kids. And I also used to coach like 5 to 8-year-olds. I used to coach soccer for a couple years, so I had that experience with little kids. I used to help out at my mom's school when we lived on Vancouver Island. So I had that experience as well. So I had lots of experience with little kids. I was never previously a nanny or an au pair, so it was my first time doing that, but I had experience with little kids before. So that's what I was looking at. So there was actually a few that I was interested in. There was one I really wanted to do in Greece. It was with just a mom and her daughter, and I can't remember how old her daughter was. She was like 12 or something. So I was like, oh my gosh, exciting. We can do makeup and nails and go to the beach every day, and it'll be so fun. So I really wanted to do that one, but it filled up right away. So learning curve there is that if you do want to do a Workaway and one catches your eye that really interests you, then be sure to sign up or message them right away so you can kind of secure a spot, because you don't want to miss out. There was another one that I was really interested in New Zealand, working on an alpaca farm. I thought that would be really cool, but you did kind of have to have a car to get there. They weren't going to pick you up, and they were kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So for me, I was like, I can't rent a car. I'm not old enough, and I just didn't feel safe doing that, driving out into the middle of nowhere. So some Workaway families are really, really accommodating and really kind. They'll pick you up, they'll do all this stuff for you, but other ones are a bit more like, you're coming to work and you're gonna work and you're gonna stay here for free, and you can go off and have fun in your free time, but you are coming to work, so just like get here and work. It really depends. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews as well. Like, just make sure you're reading through the reviews on the Workaway websites, because some people will be like, oh, they were really mean. We'd come home past 9, and they'd be so mad that we'd come home late, waking everyone up when it was only 9 o'clock. And then other people are like, it was the best experience of a lifetime. I've been back 3-4 times to that specific family. If you haven't signed up for the Workaway website, it's about like $100 or something a year. And it literally just is different Workaway website, like Workaway works listed. I don't have the site anymore because my subscription ran out and I don't plan on doing another one, but it'll be like alpaca farm in New Zealand, videographer in Mexico, a family in Spain. You know, it'll just be all these different ones listed with pictures, and they'll have pictures of where they're staying. They'll have requirements of what you need to do. They'll have the local area and like what you could see and that type of stuff. So for me, I would also be looking for if they could accommodate vegan, vegetarian, because I am vegan. So there were some that said we cannot have vegans. So I definitely didn't go to those. And there were some that said we're vegetarians or we're vegans. So I was definitely interested in those ones, because if they're already cooking those meals, it makes it easier. There were also people who specifically wanted those who spoke their language, which totally makes sense. However, I only speak French, English, and a little bit of an indigenous language, so I don't speak too much. In terms of, for example, I was looking at a few in Mexico, and they wanted someone who spoke Spanish, and I can't speak Spanish, so I had to cross those off my list. However, there are other people who do want someone who doesn't speak the native language because they want to learn it. For example, you can go and teach someone like English or teach someone French if they live in Mexico or something. Do you know what I mean? So you can go somewhere where they want the native language, or you can go somewhere where they don't want that. You just have to make sure that you're looking, because you definitely don't want to lie about that and say you can speak a language when you can't. So the one that I chose specifically was a nanny job, an au pair job in Spain for a family that had 3 kids. And now their kids, my job was to watch the kids during the day, but specifically to teach the youngest one English, because the older ones knew English a bit better, but specifically to teach the youngest one English. So before I left, I made sure I bought some games. I planned out a whole Google Doc of different activities we would do, different English games. I brought English workbooks, etc. So I was very well prepared. Now there's nothing saying that you have to do that and have to spend that money, but for me, I wanted to do that because it was also my first one, so I wanted to make sure I did a really good job and be very well prepared. So I did spend the money, and I bought different board games for the kids. I bought English workbooks, and I did plan out a ton of different games. And then while I was there, she did give me a budget so that I could buy different things for the kids while I was there. So when I was there, I bought a ton of different arts and crafts and a bunch of different activities for us to do, like baking, painting, etc. So a ton of different things like that, so that every day we were doing something different. And I was there for 3 weeks. So it was a long period of time, But it was really great because I worked every day from 9 to 3. And after 3, I could just go and explore. And on the weekends, I had off. So after 3 on Friday, I could go and explore and take the train somewhere in Spain and go and explore. And I also got to drop the kids off early on Fridays at their grandparents' house at 1. So I had even more time to go and explore on the weekends. Now, specifically where I was, it was kind of the middle of nowhere in Spain. But I mean, that is what I wanted. I wanted the full experience of what it's like for a family that doesn't live in, Barcelona. Like, if you do live in the middle of nowhere in Spain, like, what is it like? They were on the coast and it was beautiful. It was stunning. So every day I would honestly just spend like 4 hours at the beach and then 3 hours in the park, just relaxing, enjoying life. It was amazing. I worked on my clothing designs. It was just such a retreat, and there was restaurants on the beach, so I would go and enjoy a little pina colada. I would have dinner. I would go to the grocery store and buy some snacks and just eat snacks on the beach and just get a suntan. It was phenomenal. And then I had 2 weekends there because it was 1 full week, 2 full weeks, and then the last week I left on a Thursday. So I had 2 full weekends, and the first weekend I went to Valencia in Spain, which was really nice. I wouldn't necessarily go back. It wasn't my favorite place I've ever been, but they did have a really cool museum that was kind of like Star Wars-y themed. It was neat. And then the second weekend I went to Barcelona, which I loved. I really, really loved that. It was so beautiful and amazing, and I would totally go back to Barcelona. It was stunning, but it was very much different from where I was staying, because where I was staying, they had, for example, like no fast food. Whereas like Barcelona is a huge hustling and bustling city, whereas I was in the middle of nowhere, so all they had was like little local shops and 1 grocery store. So it was very different. Although I did have a very positive experience with the family, they were very kind, it was something that I wouldn't necessarily do again. And that's just because I don't think I can handle it again. And that was specifically the language barrier. And that is on me because I didn't know Spanish. I mean, that wasn't a requirement to know Spanish. I was there to teach English, but it did make it hard because the kids, when they would get in arguments and fight over toys or things like that, I didn't know what they were saying. So I didn't know what they were fighting about. So it was hard to mediate that and intervene because I didn't know what was going on. So I remember my first day doing the Workaway, and they left work and I was with the 3 kids and they got in arguments about toys and stuff. I called my dad crying after and I was like, Dad, I can't do this. Like, I don't know what they're fighting about. I can't stop the arguing. Like, I don't know how to do it. I'm trying to play with them and it's just really hard. They don't like me. They liked all the other au pairs and they don't like me. Like, I don't think I can do it. And afterwards I talked with the parents and I talked with the kids, and it was just a hard first day, just adjusting. So we all toughed through, and the next day it was better. It was a lot better, and I think it was just a hard adjustment with the kids having a new au pair, because also they had different au pairs that they've had multiple times. So I was completely brand new, which I think made it difficult as well. And you slowly get into the rhythm of things. So if you do have a hard first day at your Workaway, that's not to say that the rest of it will be hard. It will likely get easier as you get into the rhythm of things. So I just want to say that. And I was only there for 3 weeks. You can do Workaways for like 3 months, 6 months. It's insane, whatever you please. If you are someone who just has the travel bug and wants to travel around and get experience traveling and like have the time of your life, Workaway is literally the best thing you could do for you, probably. And you'll meet so many people and see so many things. It's amazing. But for me, that was one of the bigger things that I was like, initially right off the bat, I was like, they don't like me. I can't do this again because I'm not used to doing a bad job at something. And I was like, oh my gosh, they don't like me. I'm doing so bad. I can't do this. But it got better. The other reason why I probably wouldn't do a Workaway again is also just because now I'm so busy with YouTube and my clothing line and everything. While I was away for those 3 weeks, I wasn't filming because I was obviously working with the kids, and my mom was at home doing my clothing line orders for me. So it was just hard being away for that long in terms of not filming and whatnot, because I did have to pre-film a lot. And even when I'm going and visiting my boyfriend, for example, in the UK, and I pre-film 3 weeks worth of videos, when I'm there, I can still, answer emails and do stuff during the day, like those little things, post on Instagram, which is still like for my clothing line and whatnot. Whereas when I was working with the kids 9 till 3, I was solely focused on the kids. So it's not like I could be doing other little things like Instagram and whatnot. So I did feel like I slacked a little bit in terms of my social media jobs, which I know probably some of you are rolling your eyes, but it was just a bit harder for me because I am quite busy on my own at home when I have everything, let alone adding another job to it. So I just was a bit stressed in the back of my head all day thinking about all the stuff that I could have been doing, or that I should be doing for my 2 jobs when I was playing with the kids. But I did have a lot of fun playing with the kids. We did obstacle courses and tag and slime and art. So it was a lot of fun. It was basically just like a big play date for me all day. But then I did feel a little bit guilty because I was like, I'm not doing my other work when that was my work. So it was just, I think it was hard for me to kind of separate the two in my brain. I will say that being in the middle of nowhere on the coast of Spain did make eating vegan a little bit more difficult, but your girl did have an amazing time just drinking horchatas by the beach. It was lovely. I did love that. And they did have veggie burgers and whatnot. And I mainly just ate like granolas, cereals, and I would have like peanut butter and jam, honestly, for lunch, and a few classic or traditional meals for dinner. But it was really lovely. And the mom was she was a nutritionist, so she always was cooking really great meals for the kids. And one night I did get to play soccer with the dad and his soccer team, which was so fun, and they said it was pretty good, so that was a lovely experience as well. So when you're going and doing these Workaway experiences, you can not only make friends with the other Workaways, like she did offer me connections to other au pairs that she had, but you can also just become friends with the families. Like the parents are really nice, and I did hang out with them, and I did enjoy playing Nintendo with the kids, for example. So you do just gain social experience in that way. And as someone who works from home, that was probably good for me, was gaining that social experience and being with another family, because all day I'm just with me, myself, and I. But yeah, I think that's kind of all for it. I feel like I don't have as much to say on the whole Workaway experience because I only did one of them, but I am truly grateful for the opportunity, and it was really neat seeing how a family lives in a different country, like just the different foods they ate, what time they ate. Like for example, they would have dinner at like 11 p.m. That was insane to me because I eat dinner at like 6 p.m. So that was just shocking to me in that, and just like little things like that you don't really see, and where they, what they do in the summers, where they go to have fun, like the different parks and the communal like pools that were stunning and so beautiful that I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen like a community pool like this. Like this is gorgeous. And just being on the beaches, and also hearing about the parents' jobs, like because she was a nutritionist and she was on TV and stuff, which was so cool. And his job was also neat. So it's just really cool talking to other people and hearing about their lives living in a different country. Like it was just really neat. And also their house was gorgeous. And it was just little things about the layout of their house that you would never see here in Canada, obviously, because Spain and Canada are very different climates. But it was just, everything was so neat about it. And it was truly an amazing experience for me, having never traveled by myself and never doing anything like that before. And I am very grateful, and I'm very grateful for how sweet they were. And I do hope that at the end of the day, the kids did like me and have lots of fun with me, because that's really all you ever want, right? Like I said, I don't know if I'd do one again, because if I did, I'd probably just want to like volunteer somewhere and travel, or just travel with my partner now because we're together, and I always love traveling with him, of course, or traveling with my best friend, whatnot. But if you want to have your own solo getaway and travel, I would definitely recommend Workaway. It is really good. I just don't know if I'd want to travel by myself again, but it's really good if you're a more solo person or a really social person who wants to go and meet 10 people doing an au pair job. So yeah. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was highly requested. I know I'm really late to the game, but hopefully you learned a thing or two, or just thought it was neat hearing about my little experience. And if you did take a shot every time I said Workaway, well, you better have a good hangover juice tomorrow. But I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. And of course, if you have any requests, leave them in the comments below. Bye, and happy Workaway traveling.